It's Luke Howard Live! Thank you very much, thank you! Thank you so much for the fantastic round of applause, as always. Hello, good morning everybody, morning. Welcome to Britain's brightest, best radio show. It's lovely to have your company today. We started at the later time today of 10:30. Yes, we have people. We have started at the later time of 10:30. I know, a bit late today, but it's 10:32. I know, just gone up past 10. Great time to start on today, actually, because we thought we'd start a little bit later today. So we have started a little bit later on Britain's brightest, best radio show today. I thought it'd be quite nice to start a little bit later, especially if it's the last show in January. Anyways, it's great to have your company. Do get in touch with the show, whatever you are doing this Saturday morning, whether if you're out and about getting the essentials, and whatever you're doing today, if you're listening at home or you're doing lots of work, or however you are listening this Saturday morning, I really hope you are enjoying Britain's brightest, best radio show. And to get in touch with the show, email GaryJHoward68@hotmail.com, or you could use the other email, which is 345-457@student.hrc.ac.uk. You can also find the show on Instagram, Mr. Luke Howard fan page, and we'll be so happy to hear from you on this very show. It'd be great. Get in touch. We'd be happy to hear from you on the show. We really, really would. And all those great ways to get in touch with the show, they really are. And I'd love to hear from you. Anne from North Yorkshire has just got in touch with the show to say, Luke, the show is fantastic as always, great tunes, great talking of the news and all that. Thank you very much, Anne. And Jockey, what's her name? Jocqueline from Herefordshire has also got in touch with the show. Sorry to get in, and she said, what did she say? She said the show is fantastic, Luke. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. I don't know. Got some great jokes lined up on the show today later on as well to finish off this week, and lots of great news to talk about as well. We've got to talk about the main stories. We're talking Britain's Got Talent on the show. We're talking COVID families, and we're going to kickstart. We're talking about EU vaccine export row over breakouts for the controls for the NI. We are going to kick off by talking about that. And yeah, so sit back and relax. Enjoy Britain's brightest, best radio show. We do try our very best to keep this show COVID free as much as we can. But today we are going to talk a little bit about the EU, which has reserved its decision to temporarily overside parts of the Brexit deal amid ongoing row over COVID vaccine supplies in the bloc. And I do know what this is about, because I did watch the news last night, and I did see what they were talking about, because the move could be seen checks at the border of Ireland. Oh, it's Northern Ireland. That's what it is. I wondered what NI stood for. No one really knew what it stood for, but it is Northern Ireland, and I think I sort of did know what it did stand for. But anyway, we do. They're to prevent shipments entering the UK. Now, the Brussels U-turn came hours after it was announced, following condemnation from London, Dublin, and Belfast. But however, though, the EU said it had no choice but to press on with introducing export controls on this very vaccine. The EU insists its controls are a temporary scheme, but not an export ban. But the World Health Organization is among those criticising the move and saying it could have a knockout on effect around the world. Now, the Brexit deal guarantees an open border between the EU and the Northern Ireland, which is what I did know that NI stood for, but with no controls on exported products. And I never actually knew that anyway, but I do know quite a lot about this, so yeah. But however, Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol part of the deal allows the EU and the UK to choose to suspend any aspects that they consider and causing economic, sociality or environmental difficulties. That earlier yesterday morning, the EU announced, we didn't actually get this on the show yesterday, because they said it yesterday morning and we didn't quite get it till early this morning, but the EU announced it would actually entering the Northern Ireland in a bid to prevent the region becoming a backdoor of jabs to be sent to the UK. And it was also export controls on the entering. But later, it said the actions were justified, and it was and and advert problems caused by the lack of supply, and we all knew that as well. But the protest was sparked concern from all five parties in the Northern Ireland's devolved government. And an Irish Prime Minister, Michael Martin, has said later on Friday evening, he said following talks with UK Prime Minister, which is our Prime Minister, Boris, of course, Imperial Commission President Ruchladi van der Leyen, he tweeted that the UK and EU had agreed on the principle that there should not be restrictions on the export of vaccine by companies where they are fulfilling contractual responsibilities. She also said the backtrack, which was outlined in the European Commission, they also came after constructive talks with Mr Johnson himself, in which he had expressed grave concerns about the Interreg plan, and I never actually knew that either. That's quite interesting to talk about there. But but she also said it in a backtrack which was outlined in it as well. And the Brussels correspondent Kevin Connolly said that I did actually see Miss von der Leyen's at midnight. She tweeted that it seemed to be wind down. The idea that there could be a vaccine war where jab supplies are prevented from reaching the UK. Now, Julian Smith, Conservative MP and former Northern Ireland Secretary, said the EU had pulled the emergency cord without following the paper processes that had been agreed over years of negotiations. He told a radio programme that the move came without anywhere near the level of understanding the Good Friday Agreement on the severance of the situation in that area. And it was also an almost typical act if they're all very pleased that they changed their minds, that he said that adding the EU's major issues, which with its COVID vaccine rollout, does not excuse their actions. Now, they're saying mistake, misjudgment and blunder, because there are just some words out there that have been used in privately to describe the European Commission's interim decision yesterday to suspend areas of the Brexit deal dealing with Northern Ireland, a part of its COVID vaccine round. Now, although it then will add a U-turn on those plans, and critics said that the damage was already done. Now, they previously lectured the UK government about respecting the Irish protocol, which was painfully and carefully drafted during that regulations as well, which is what I never knew. But the EU did seem that quick. It was quick to undermine that agreement. But Member State Ireland felt stung that it hadn't been consulted. That all adds is to the impression of the chaos surrounding the EU's vaccine rollout. But it was already under fire from the growing number of those countries, and they were all having been slow to sign it from contracts with pharmaceutical companies, which is interesting, very, very interesting. But the mishap over the Irish protocol, as Spain's foreign minister called it, hasn't actually helped the Commission's publication. Now, they welcomed the EU's reversal, describing it as a positive development given the many challenges we face in tackling COVID-19. However, though, it was not thought that they would move and would have directly disadvantaged Northern Ireland, which gets its vaccine supplies through the UK prosperity system. But despite, I think it was later backtracking of the Article 16, where the EU is still introducing new controls, giving its member states the power to block exports of the corona vaccine to countries including the UK. Should they wanted to or not, maybe, we do not know. But the statement from the European Commission said that in order to tackle the current lack of transparency over the exports outside the EU, that it would be introducing a measure requiring that all such exports are subject to an authorisation by member states. Now, the EU warned that it would consider using all the instruments at its disposal to ensure other countries, they're saying it's headed to its Brussels system. And it was also the latest development in preparing dispute over the vaccine producer AstraZeneca's delivery commitments to the EU. Now, the bloc agreed to buy up to 400 million doses of vaccine AstraZeneca developed last year with Oxford University, the Oxford one, I believe. And on Friday, the EU's drugs regulator approved the vaccine's use for all adults. But the firm said that it was due to problems at one of its EU factory suppliers, which would be reduced by about 60% in the first quarter of this very year, 2021. Okay, so the EU's original move was criticised by a stream of politicians. Well, I never. Really? With Northern, with its it's to do with the First Minister Erin Foster. Yeah, I can sort of get to this now about what they're actually trying to get forward. I do understand it because it's an absolute historical act Osprey that places a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. I never knew that. Well, I never. They also told another programme that the article highlighted the EU's vaccine embarrassment and mismanagement. Well, I never knew. Okay, I think we should leave this story there, I think, and move on to another one. Okay, so let's move on then to another story now. COVID families. Or should we talk about Britain's Got Talent? I think we should talk about Britain's Got Talent, I think, because I'm quite shocked I mean, I know this is true anyway. They're going to be, they've basically postponed all episodes this year, and they're saying there's going to be no shows this year, but it's going to be postponed until next year. I'm really surprised about this. I really, really am. Britain's Got Talent is not going to be coming back this year, but it shall be back next year, and I never knew that, but it's going to be coming back next year. It has been postponed for until next year with the concerns around safety during COVID pandemic. The filming on the ITV show was originally due to start this very month, but it has been pushed back 3 weeks ago due to the third English lockdown and rising cases. Now, on yesterday, the talent show's producers said that the safety is their priority and it comes first, and they called it off until next year. They said performers like dance groups, apparently choirs and orchestras, wouldn't actually be able to rehearse and audition safely. Do you know what? I mean, I get that. I mean, people, you know, I do get that. You know, I mean, I do actually get it because they got to do it in the safest way, I suppose. But yeah, I do understand what they mean, because what they're trying to say is, people out there, what they're trying to say is, it's dance groups, choirs. Yeah, I can get what they did because they can't perform safely. So I mean, I do sort of agree with that. And the audition shows typically involve hundreds of people congregating, of course, and then performing in front of a live audience. And of course, Simon Cowell, Alicia Dixon, Dave Welling, and Amanda Holden. But yeah, so I see what they're trying to get forward here, so I do understand it, yeah. And in a statement, the producers said that despite any one of ITV, Thames, and of course Psycho doing their best to make it happen, and with an absolute priority of safeguarding and well-being and health of every person involved in the programme, from judges, hosts, contestants, of course, to all of the crew, audiences, and the decision, and of course it can't be the same, but the decision has been made to unfortunately move the record and broadcast of the 15th series. It's only 15 years. I thought it was 14. I thought it was more than 15 years. But of course, the 15th series of Britain's Got Talent is being postponed until next year. And it was also known for its diversity of talent, with big dance groups, wonderful choirs, lush orchestras, and it's become, of course, clear that not only is it not possible to film auditions with these types of acts in a secure way, but also that they are not able to accurately rehearse and prepare safely, of course. Now, safety has to come first, of course. As a result, the recording of the show cannot currently go ahead. Now, filming of the show's latest Christmas special was actually delayed after at least 3 crew members tested positive for COVID last week. Holden said on the Heart Breakfast show that there were still decisions going on as to whatever the next full series would be filmed this year. The 2020 Series 14 was won by, of course, let's have a little bit of a recap here, because the 2014 series was won by the wonderful comedian, pianist John Courtney. Amazing, with his sign language choir singing along with their finishing in second place, and they were very, very good. All of them were absolutely amazing, and I must say they were fantastic. They really, really were. Okay, so let's go back to the COVID news now, because people could be asked to pay for funeral fines. I can't believe this. What they're saying is, if you don't have a funeral, you're going to be paid a fine. Now, I don't believe this. I really, really don't. But the UK funerals directors say that they might not need to be asked behaved families to agree to pay any fines incurred if a service breaches COVID restrictions. The National Association of Funeral Directors said that it was literally ridiculous that its members with penalties for doing a frontline job. I got it wrong. But the rules vary across our very country, would you believe, the UK. But, hang on a minute, Hertfordshire's coming up, hang on. But there are only limits of funerals in all 4 nations. One director was given £10,000 fine after nearly 150 people turned up to a funeral in Hertfordshire, which is our county, would you believe. I think what I'll do is, I'll look that up in a minute and see whereabouts that is. But only up to 30 people are able to attend services in England. The NAFD told a news programme they understood why funeral firms might consider asking families in those police force areas to cover the cost of any potential fines in order to protect their businesses. The alternative option says the association would be arrange funerals with no family members in attendance attendance at all. In a statement, the NAFD said that police forces are being sensible about how they are enforced restrictions, but some have got their approach seriously wrong. I never knew. Whoa, they finally mentioned Hertfordshire in the news. I better read that up in a minute. But